All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Kind of annoying how that happens, where the game doesn't show up immediately. It's not that big of a problem. So we're playing Monk today. It's been a while since I've played Monk, especially for a speedrun, because usually, Monk shares a lot of categories with Survivor, like Pebble percent, any percent, Outer Expanse percent. And I have done most of those categories, but mostly I'd prefer to do it as Survivor since they're usually the more popular character. But this category, story percent, is one that's unique to Monk. Well, not like unique because Survivor could do the same thing, but Monk does some things canonically that we also do in the speedrun. So what do we have to do in the speedrun? It basically starts out with the Pebble percent run. We need to go up to get the mark of communication for Pebbles and also 2 neurons. And we keep one of these neurons in our stomach and we hold on to the other one. So it is going to be a little bit like Spearmaster, but since creatures aren't as big of a problem, it shouldn't be that big of a deal to hold on to one neuron the whole time. After that, we go down to Shoreline, and in Shoreline, we grab the cloak. Then we head into Submerged Superstructure because technically it's a different region. It kind of feels connected, but we get the cloak there and we bring it to Moon. We can actually use a passage to escape Submerged Superstructure, otherwise it's actually quite difficult to get out of it. And then we go to Moon, we give her the cloak and 2 neurons, and then we passage back to Outskirts where we can then head over to Outer Expanse because that's where the run ends. So it's quite a lot. There's a lot to do. But I actually kind of like the idea of it because it goes to a lot of diverse regions. It goes up to Pebbles, it goes to Moon, it goes to Outer Expanse, and you're playing as Monk, so creatures should not be that bad, hopefully. I mean, I don't know about that because I haven't played too much Monk or done too many Monk speedruns, but I'm hoping that creatures are like the easy part of the run. Just the explanation. Sometimes I wonder like if I really should explain everything at the start of a stream because there's like 2 people who are watching at that point. Unless people watch the VOD. I feel like you just want to skip the beginning of the stream and just get into the gameplay if you're watching the VOD. I plan for the water part. I sort of do. I basically just watched other Monk story percent runs, and hopefully I memorized the route enough. We will see when we get there. Nice lag spike right there. So the beginning of the run is a little bit slow, unfortunately. You can make a command. Maybe if I had like some sort of bot set up. I could also like put a pinned comment or put something in the description. I can do that. But basically, we're going to Pebbles and then we're going to Moon and then so Submerged Superstructure and then to Moon and then to Outer Expanse. And now we Karma Cache for like 3 minutes. Luckily, hopefully this run is so long that I won't have to restart too often. Because the beginning is going to be very slow. We basically need to Karma Cache until we get max Karma, or specifically until we get the Martyr passage, which you get from starving multiple times. And Karma Caching is a fast way to get that. And we also need to get Survivor eventually. Now, I don't have shelters planned out. Maybe I should have had like which shelters I'm going to take planned out in advance. Because I'm going to need to take, I think, 3 more after Karma Caching here. I'll probably shelter again up by Pebbles, and then maybe sometime on my way to Shoreline, and then Because I know I want to shelter when entering submerged superstructure, because you just don't have enough time to make it to the cloak in one cycle. Also, because we need to carry the neurons with us, we can't use actually I'm gonna actually I guess I should have checked there. But we need to bring the neurons with us, which means that we can't do the cheese strategy of exiting out of the game after seeing pebbles, which would normally teleport you back to outskirts. So on a pebble percent run, that can like save a lot of time, but we need to hold on to the neurons, and those aren't brought back with us. So what are our passages looking like now? If I did this category a lot, I would have to memorize how many times the karma cache. Okay, that was actually the perfect amount. I think that means we need to shelter 3 more times to get Survivor. Once will be, well, okay, once at Pebbles, once when entering submerged superstructure, and then once again when leaving submerged superstructure. You shelter, get Survivor, and then you passage. I think that's how it goes, so I think we're good. Also, I think it's a good idea to grab this. This is more of a practice run than a real attempt, so maybe I will need that. Now, the beginning of this run is pretty much going to be identical to a Pebble percent run. Except for Monk. And I've not done Pebble percent Monk that often, so it should be easier. Do I have wall passes on? Yes, I do. Also, for getting the cloak, it is kind of complicated because submerged superstructure is a very large region and it's very maze-like. But if you memorize a specific route through it and manage your bubble weed well, it's not that bad. But I guess I'll get into that more once we actually get there. So in like an hour. Also, I have no idea what the world record in this category is. Because the runs that I've seen look unoptimized. Like there are a few issues with them here and there. I hate when that happens. Probably a whole lot worse as Monk. What, the submerged superstructure? It wasn't that bad. I have already done it once, like right before the stream, to make sure that I knew where to go. But it's not that bad. Goodness. If you want to fall down there, just gonna spit at me. So I'll... Do not think this guy would be that much of a problem. Not so peaceful though. There was like a blue lizard and a caramel lizard, and that's it. Unheard of. For Rain World, just 2 creatures in a whole region. The Karma Lizards were rare. They are rare for the early Slick Cats. But over time, Karma Lizards start to replace Green Lizards. Like, there's usually a Green Lizard there as Survivor, but it gets replaced with a Caramel. And then as, like, Rivulet, there's plenty of Caramels all over the place. Is music gonna play? I guess not. I think that sometimes I move fast enough so that that music doesn't even, like... Or the music when entering the region plays over the trigger for the next song, if you move fast enough. Also, you always want to have a spear for entering this room, because you can do that. Also, third music though. I should have just stayed there because White Lizards. Well, I should explain a little bit about Monk. They are. They're special. Monk. It's harder for creatures to detect, I guess, is one way to say it. Or maybe creatures are just less aggressive towards Monk. So that White Lizard basically walked right next to me and did not care. Neither does this guy. As long as I move down. Look at that. They did not even care. Even though I was like falling all over the place. So all those creatures and lizards and stuff that are usually a huge pain to deal with, you just ignore. Finally a good category. I mean, I guess we'll see. But getting through Chimney Canopy on my first attempt, it's already a pretty good sign. Usually this is a really hard part for runs that go through this area. Still Vultures though. Spears too. Oh yeah, no fruit strategy. You may know what I'm talking about if you watch the speedrun marathon. I think that was used there, right? There's something you can do with a partially eaten blue fruit in this next area that I'm not going to do. I don't even know if it saves time because I feel like you could better use another hand for like throwables, throw boosts, and extended slides instead of holding onto a fruit. Like this area shouldn't really be that bad because there's just see, Monk is broken. But it's just a bunch of orange lizards, which I will just completely avoid. And then there's the white lizards that are not very interested in me. Am I going to Passage to Moon? No. I can't passage with an item in my hand. I need to bring 2 neurons with me. But this is where the fruit would save time, because I have to go over here to get another spear. I think I need to fall down. I don't need to, but I did. Never seen a white there. I don't think I've seen one that low either. Like maybe in this room around the top, but it'd take too many attempts to get that. I haven't really practiced that much. I've not been running pebble percent really. It can be a bit annoying to get that consistent. Here's where you usually see white lizards. You just see that they do not care. It's about to rain. Based on how fast this lizard is moving, probably. Now, I do want to move out of their way, because if a lizard is running like that, they will just bite you if they run into you. That can be especially annoying in these rooms that are coming up soon. These like long tunnels. If you're in one of these tunnels and a lizard runs through, they will just kill you. But I know that there's not going to be any lizards below me, so I'm pretty safe. And yeah, it is raining, which means we'll get to be in the dark. That's cool. Also, I hope that the Scion lizard in this area is the problem. Actually, I don't even know if they spawn as monk, but a Scion lizard shows up here as survivor during the night after it rains. There's quite a lot of things that we have to do up by Pebbles. We need to talk to him first to get the mark of communication. Then we need to go into the next room to get 2 neurons, and I think I also want to eat one for the glow, because there actually are a lot of dark areas. Twice in the run. There's a spear right here. We're good. That was almost very bad. That was a backflip with a throw boost upwards, which I actually prefer doing over the other method of like turnaround backflip. Crawl turnaround backflip? I don't know what it's called. Be very dark in here. Oh, not quite. There's maybe some sort of visual bug in this area where it's like way too dark, or maybe that just happens during the transition to nighttime. Here we are. Actually, I guess I can check the creature spawns right now. I don't have time. So we will come back to this shelter. Okay, when that happens. I know that the simplified moveset mod makes you climb poles like in a straight line upwards. Sometimes with the way you like lean to the side, climbing up, it can make you like run into stuff. You don't ever do that. Okay, I'm actually going back. You really want to make sure that you're lined up right in the middle here. If only this was like Riveted, where we could throw something at Pebbles to skip his dialogue. But this time we actually have to just wait out the whole thing. You actually see here the way to do a wall pounce, like the way I do them as Rivulet. Just by running into a wall, pressing down and then jumping. It's kind of awkward because of the slope here. You can actually see how crazy speed you get from that. But you can only get that speed if you do a turnaround like this. Anyway, we want to... No, I don't think I will. Sometimes Pebbles can block you on the way out. A lot of fun. So a little bit of RNG right here. We need to pick up 2 neurons. One of which I'm going to... Or actually 3 neurons. I'll eat one of them. Alright, pretty lucky so far. I actually hit another neuron with that rock. So I'd like to pick up one of these. I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but I don't want to drop further down in this room. There we go. That was actually pretty fast. So I should not eat these. Now this also means that I'm going to go through this room a lot slower because I can't throw a boost. Maybe it'd be better to go along the sides of the room then. From here, we head back, eat the popcorn plant, and then swallow one of these neurons. We will just have to hold on to the other one. And that other one is also why we can't passage out of here. Also, I think it'd probably be faster if I like landed on the floor earlier and then did a backflip to get up. Like that. Very rarely leave this room like this in speedruns. I had popcorn RNG. Okay, so that's like the first part of the run. About 20 minutes. Probably do it faster than that. Of course, you can always do something faster, but... That time is so cool. It is nice that some speedruns do get to see that, but also it kind of makes the run more difficult because you can't see where you're going. Depending on when it becomes nighttime. Because like while it's getting darker, there's like a visual bug where it makes it way too dark. It's kind of strange. So also, I really need to pay attention to this neuron and make sure that I don't eat it on accident. That is definitely something that can happen. So from here, we're basically just going backwards until we get back to industrial. But of course, the way back is a lot faster. We did the slide correctly. I can also drop it. That's a possibility. How well do I remember this? Okay, I did drop it. Kind of looks like I didn't take fall damage. I wanted to pick that up instead of throwing it. How do you do a slide boost? It depends on what a slide boost is, because I don't know what that's referring to. Is it, do you mean like when you slide and then you throw something, which like makes you do a really long slide? Because to do that, you basically need to start to slide and then after a small delay, throw an item backwards. I think it might also help to then hold forward again. So you're holding forward to do the slide, hold backwards for a bit to throw, and then hold forward again. You can also look at my input display. It's fun to go down the wall. If you want to be fancy, you can jump right after throwing backwards, and you will do an EI hop, depending on when you jump. Except that's actually really hard timing. It's like almost frame perfect. Yeah, it is really consistent, but I mess it up a whole lot for some reason. I have no idea where I'm going to get food. There's a popcorn plant back there, but I don't want to wait for a popcorn plant. Monkus. Yeah, we are playing Banana Cat now. Okay, I didn't know if you had to throw boost there or not, but it worked out. Yeah, doing like practicing movement in arena is a good way to practice, but also just like once you know how to do the inputs, I feel like arena practice is for if you don't know how to do it at all, and you need to figure out what inputs to do. And once you actually know how to do it in the first place, you then can start trying to use it in the normal game whenever you find an opportunity to. Almost lined up perfectly. Maybe if I could pick up a bat fly for some quick food. Eat it during the gates animation. But also don't eat the neuron. Now this is like kind of not very well known thing that happens when you're eating food. Because in order to eat something, you need to hold down the grab button, right? But once you start eating, you actually continue to eat automatically. So even if you let go of the grab button, you continue to eat the item in your second hand. So make sure that you either do something like throw the item or to move to cancel the eating animation. Or to like throw the item away, because that does happen sometimes where you accidentally throw or you accidentally eat the other item even if you let go of the eat button. Not a good jump there. No idea what that was. Oh dear. That was actually kind of close. There we go. That's a good AI hop. That wasn't. Cheap nest. Now, I know that there's one route that you can take through Shaded that is technically the fastest, but I don't like that route because it's dark. And, well, I have Neuron Glow. But I don't like it because it's, like, very limited in where you can go. And if there's a lizard or a spider in the way, you basically just have to run past them. So I'm just going to take the route that I'm more familiar with. And I'm like, I've practiced it more anyway, so it's probably going to be faster for me. I mean, I haven't tested the two routes side by side, so maybe it's like better by a significant margin and I should try it anyway. But also, this is the route that I recommend that people take if they want to get through Shaded. Alright, whatever. Not worth it to do that. Like, I think you'd go down from here. What's required for Monk's Story Percent? So we went to Pebbles. I've already done that. So you basically go from outskirts to Pebbles, grab two, or I like to eat one neuron for the Neuron Glow. But you hold on to two neurons, so I have one in my hand right now and one in my stomach. We are now heading over to Moon, not the Sea Moon. We first go down to Submerged Superstructure. You grab the cloak, passage back to Shoreline to give it to Moon and the neurons, and then we do another passage. Okay, they're nice. So. And then from Moon, we passage back to Outskirts, where we then head to Outer Expanse. That was awful. It was actually like the worst way I could have done it. So this is where the two paths combine together. I'm gonna eat here just because these two bowls are right next to each other. It is pretty much always faster to eat two food together at the same time. Or in a gate or a shelter. A rare set of rooms to see for a speedrun. That's like always the same route that I take when going through Shaded. Also, I think it's faster to go up, but I've already fallen down, so whatever. I know a spider. How dangerous and scary. Shaded bridge. That's a really weak jump. Okay. You can't actually make it back up. Take that as an example of how not to do this section. I guess you should probably eat here. Bring the blue fruit into the shelter. Or into the gate. How much time do we have left? This doesn't look like enough time to make it to shoreline. And that was a really long cycle too. I mean, I'm not familiar with the route, so maybe you just take a shelter here anyway. Or maybe my movement was just really bad. Or if you took the other route through shaded. Yeah, I mean, Moon isn't wearing the cloak as Monk, and then as Rivi, the next look at the timeline, they are wearing the cloak, so it implies that Monk is the one to give her the cloak, as well as the neurons. It's the same thing for that. That's why this is what we do in the story percent run. Even though these things aren't necessary, they're just kind of things that we think that Monk does, so they're part of this run. Now this is where the routing gets complicated. And also where I'm probably going to forget where to go. Also, I think that the remix setting for giving Monk the longer breath underwater, I have that disabled, as is required for speedruns that involve Monk. So these swimming sections are actually quite difficult if you like mess up. Some slug to do it off screen between the two, I suppose. So this is where I'm going to actually, I think that Spearmaster is implied to draw a lot of things on the map, like the indications for echoes, as well as that shelter. So technically we'd have to go to all those locations. Maybe that could be its own category, just visiting all the locations that... Oh, nice graphical error there. Go to all the locations where Spearmaster draws something. And you wouldn't have to go to, or you wouldn't have to bring the pearl. Maybe it would be an actually fun Spearmaster category. Jetfish harassment. I have no idea where all those locations are. If there's like any more that I don't know of, other than the like echo drawings. Actually, I don't even know if the echo drawings are from Spearmaster. I guess I should check that. Please, thank you. Definitely the underhang one, I know. That's one of them. Don't go above these. So this is a actually somewhat difficult swimming section, even with the jetfish. Also aquapede. Almost drawn, because I forgot which pipe to go in. No aquapede yet. Probably be you could probably just make it to this little platform in one go instead of covering your breath. That is all that we will be using the jetfish. That was so close. That wasn't really close. I mean, that's pretty much exactly how it went when I was doing a practice run. So now we basically are just relying on these bubble fruit to make it through submersible structure, and hopefully I remember the route. A lot of like swimming through like maze-like rooms up ahead. I will take this shelter. I don't even think you have enough time to make it all the way to the end of submersible structure. Like we only have half the cycle left. Which means that you probably do need to shake. Yeah, you probably do need to take a shelter in shoreline. Hey, that's not Monk. Would have been that hard to recolor those images? Okay, so this is where you get Survivor. So that's not really that difficult to get. And I think I'm taking it up one more shelter after this anyway. So don't worry about getting Survivor. Just Karma Catch at the beginning long enough to get... Ooh, okay. That's a strategy I use for Rivulet, but Monk does not move as fast as Rivulet, so of course it doesn't work. Now, okay, some important things I should say about Bubbleweed. They drain at a consistent rate, which means it doesn't matter what you're doing underwater. So usually swim boosts drain a lot of your breath. Don't swim boost if you are trying to make it like across a long distance underwater. You should only do swim boost if you're trying to move quickly, when you can return to the surface very quickly, or if you're trying to like escape from some creature. But with a Bubbleweed, swim boosts don't drain the Bubbleweed any faster than just swimming normally. So you can use as many swim boosts as you want. I think this is the right way. Through that backwards, I think. The easy mode. It's funny you say easy mode because this is actually not a very easy section. Yeah. There's the evidence. I guess there was a Bubbleweed I could have picked up. I was like, I don't need that. That ran out sooner than I thought. Okay, that's fine. This is a practice run anyway. I don't know if I will do more attempts at this, but I'm just trying it out. I'm seeing if I want to continue to try this category in the future. Also, there's a leech on me. Please leave. Thank you. Yeah, also, if you hold 2 bubbleweed at once, it's the same as just holding 1 bubbleweed. Doesn't make any difference at all. I guess, okay, I should have swapped to the other bubbleweed before going through that next section. That's what I messed up. Yeah, these jetfish aren't annoying. Actually weren't, surprisingly. Too far, too far. Oh yeah, karma flower. Now there's a Leviathan in this room, which is actually one of my favorite Leviathans in the game. Right now it isn't though. I'm actually not a big fan of it right now. I think I have to go down here. I just love how like open that room is. It actually feels like a big area where an area large enough to actually fit a Leviathan. And in Shoreline, you know, I mean, the water there is like, it's like open enough for a Leviathan to be in, but you're pretty much only going to be on the surface of it. Also, I don't remember where to go here. Okay. Some of these rooms can be a little bit confusing. You can just go straight up here. And this room, I think we just go up to the right. It's a little bit hard to tell where the walls are because of their texture. I believe we head down from here. I don't know if it's worth going through that pipe. I feel like you have to spend a long time going up and back down when you could just be moving forward the whole way anyway. Now, I hope this is the right way. And this... There's a hidden pipe right here. Oh shoot, I forgot where to go. Is it this way? Yeah, okay. Where do the Leviathans even come from? We have no idea. So I basically just want to conserve this one bubbleweed as long as possible for this section. Please go in. Yeah, there you go. That's the whole route through submerged. And now we get the drip. That was an awful throw boost. We need to eat food here? I suppose. It's like getting your clothes stuck in your kidneys. I mean, I think the scale is a little bit different. Also, I think I should go up here. It probably would be easier to grab those fruit instead of the jellyfish. So from here we passage. Alright, now we have everything we need to bring to Moon. Yeah, I mean, the cloak is super small, and we can assume that the collapse of Moon's structure was very chaotic. So, like, the floodwaters could have brought the cloak anywhere in the structure, and that's just kind of where it ended up. How it ended up on that pole specifically kind of doesn't make sense. But it kind of needs to be in an obvious position, or else no one would ever find it. Now, this would be really annoying back when Jetfish could knock items out of your hands. Which is ridiculous, by the way. They really expected you to avoid all the Jetfish if you want to bring, like, a Neuron or a Pearl to Moon. That was an awful idea. But luckily, the remix setting fixes it. Hey, look, that's Moon. The creature turned it into something special and just stole their family heirloom. Like the scavengers? I mean, I don't think they would just leave it out in the middle of nowhere. So I don't think there's any scavengers really close to that location. No, I didn't expect to grab onto that hole. Please. There we go. Yeah, I've seen scavengers in this area, but that's very far away from the... I don't know if you can give her the neurons immediately. Yeah, scavengers really like those low weed. They kind of act as lanterns to them. Did I accidentally pick up a neuron? Pick up the cloak. There we go. So I think if you give her the stuff quickly enough, it'll cancel out the dialogue. Alright, there we go. Goodbye. I don't know if she puts it on if you leave or that, but I'm just gonna be safe. Maybe it would have been a good idea to eat something before coming here, because I could just stay in that shelter. I think there actually are like a decent amount of scavengers in submerged superstructure. A few of the rooms, I think I have seen scavengers, but I don't know if I've ever seen them close to where the cloak is. All the like abbreviations for those region names definitely make sense and are consistent. Oops. So now we go back to outskirts. Now it's basically an 80% run for a little bit, or no, more of an Outer Expanse run, because that's what we're doing. I guess it's kind of arbitrary to pick Outer Expanse over the Ascension ending, because both are possibly canonical. I think Outer Expanse makes more sense for a story percent run, because there's already like any percent to public percent for Ascension. That's just an egg bug. Yeah, I think that within Downpour canon, Survivor and Monk go to Outer Expanse, but in Vanilla Rainworld canon, they both go to the Void Sea. Or I guess all the Slugcats do. And I think those two canons may be like very much different things. What is going on? Yeah, over here, please. That's a main place for that salamander to be. Also, another thing I forgot, this area is also quite difficult for Monk. I have lost some Pebble percent runs to this area just because Monk is not breathed very long underwater. I took that almost drowned from just that little bit. Yeah, I need to pay attention for this bit. Hyenas don't have lungs. Of course, that makes sense. Therefore, Monk does not have lungs either. Now, maybe some runners think that this area is kind of boring, but I actually really like filtration system. I like how consistent it is, where it's basically just focusing on movement. Underhang plus wall, yeah, but what about the leg? Now, it's nice that I have neuron lights for this section. Should I shelter here? No, let's just hope that I don't die. The best strategy. Now, you would think that Monk doesn't have as many mole lizards, but I don't think there's actually much of a difference compared to Survivor. Filtration system is just always awful. But it is nice to actually see what I'm doing in this little bit here. Can you hear all the moles down there? I could probably make it all the way to the end of Outer Expanse in this cycle. But to be safe, I'm going to take a shelter. There's already a scavenger. You can actually see they're holding one of those glow weed that we were talking about earlier. The scavengers die to the worm grass. They were so scared of the karma lizard they didn't even realize the real threat. Please. Okay. Let this guy don't attack me. Thank you. Still don't attack me. Oh, nice. They actually took care of the kelp for me. Not this guy, however. What did I hit? He's moved. Probably the most chaotic area so far. Actually, I don't think I need to eat food. You know, maybe it'd be a good idea to pick up a Geoduck to make these Wormgrass less dangerous. I mean, it's pretty easy to get past them, but maybe there's a small chance. Yeah, let's wait for this guy. Except centipedes are broken. Actually, it would have been better if that centipede didn't escape. Hopefully this guy doesn't come back. Oops. Wow. Notice how I was inside the blue lizard and I still missed both of the items I was holding? Okay, I don't think I'm gonna get saved. There's like no other creatures there. Okay, we're back in outskirts. You guys want to do the entire last section over again? I mean, maybe the stream would be too short, so. That's cool. I did consider taking another shelter, but the shelter I was going to stay in was literally in that next room. After that blue lizard. That was the last thing I needed to get past. You know, some of the downpour lizards are named after food. There's the caramel lizard and the strawberry lizard. And I kind of thought of making a food-related name for all of the lizards. Goodbye. You too. please. Thank you. This all could have been avoided if it wasn't for one blue lizard. Maybe that was a troll lizard. And I waited so long for that lizard to move out of the way. What would metal taste like? I don't recommend eating metal. It's nice that the speedrun actually gets the neuron glow. What it is like a bit of a time loss. Getting neurons in pebbles is quite inconsistent. In the first room, there's just not that many. So getting 3 compared to 2 is actually like quite a lot of time that you have to spend, but I think it's worth it for having the glow, unless you have everything memorized perfectly. But even there's still like cases where a creature might show up in the dark that you wouldn't be able to see normally. Would just like kill you out of nowhere. Make sure that I don't stick around this worm grass for too long. And this time there isn't a jetfish to help me. Yeah, that was very risky. It looked like they were facing downwards, so I could have gotten past them. So I guess it worked. Here's the centipedes again. The same lizard? Yep. They're over here this time though, so maybe it's gonna be easy to get past them. Yep, just like come up here real quick. Oh, okay. Go into Rain World and ask Moon one question. I just saw how do I get back, and I didn't see the question, or yeah, I didn't see the question before that, so I was very confused for a second. I don't need this. All of chat sharing the combined intelligence of a jellyfish. That means you'll have no problem ascending. Assuming the ancients are correct. Okay. That Guyuk just saved that scavenger from being mad at me. Oh, they're attacking the overseers. Now, I don't know if I've gone through Outer Expanse as monk. Well, not in a long time, so I don't think the creatures are too bad. I know that the centipede at the end of Outer Expanse is still there. That's fun to look forward to. Other than like a few lizards here and there, I don't think the spawns are that bad. So actually, that was a little bit of a mistake. I need to pick up a spear at some point. So hopefully there's one, like, later in this room. Okay, there are plenty of spears. That's a large centipede. Or relative to monk. I haven't really... Yeah, I haven't really. Excellent platforming, thank you. I was going to say that I was focusing too much on the platforming, but I couldn't like read chat too much. But maybe I wasn't really focusing enough on the game. I never really know how to respond to the chat when you guys talk about stuff like this. I don't really have an answer to that question that is currently being asked. You can reach that. Totally normal subject. Yep, all the discussions that go on in the chat are always very normal. And definitely also related to speedrunning. So that is what this channel has been about mostly. It's fine. I'm not like annoyed that you guys aren't talking about speedrunning or that you guys are talking about some random stuff half the time. I don't like you. I mean, I suppose it's because these speedruns aren't particularly interesting on their own. Especially if I keep dying and repeating the same sections over again. What are your opinions on bald salamander? What? Need to find a spear. I did not find a spear. This is just like the wall. You get halfway there and you're like, oh, I don't have a spear that is required for this next section. There's some up there. I can't reach up there. And then watch as I enter the next room and there's going to be a spear right there. Oh, Karma Flower. I wonder why that's there. There is no spear though. So, okay. That's all I had to do. Just jump forward. I think that's the most consistent way to do it. If you're playing as Gourmand, you can do a double wall jump. I don't know the name for that tech. When you hug a wall, you can do 2 jumps away from it. And then you throw boost first with a rock and then a spear. Or maybe the other way around, I actually forgot. But throw boosts with spears as Gourmand are very fast. So that's how I like to do it. But as Survivor and Monk, it's usually easier to throw the spear and then do a regular pounce. If you do a throw boost pounce, then it will actually, you'll actually hit your head on the ceiling and you'll fall. Where Karafar spawn? Ow, my spine. Is the Switch version still broken? I know there were a bunch of problems on release, like crashes or audio problems. I don't know if they fixed those. Oh, and you can just go through a portal. If you're on the other side, that's cool. Oh man, these leeches, I hope I don't get shocked by a small centipede. Okay, they're actually kind of being annoying. There's still things about this version of the game that they need to fix. Also, all the leeches fell off. I don't know how that happened. Except this one. Like, every time you start a Survivor or Monk campaign, the opening cutscene, for whatever reason, breaks the resolution of the game and makes it all, like, pixelated. And I imagine that it's a similar problem that caused the opening cutscene to crash the Switch version too. Or maybe just consoles in general. I don't remember if it's like all of them that had the problem or just the Switch. Loading tip, you have that thing too. Or sharpener bugging out? So I don't have sharpener at all. Oh, that's cool. Usually the game is pixelated, of course, but when it's stretched to fit your screen size, there's like a bit of like anti-aliasing, I think. That kind of like smooths out the pixels. But sometimes that breaks, and the way that the game is like stretched to fit your screen kind of makes some of the pixels different sizes, and it looks really bad. This is what I was talking about. About the awful centipede. I got grabbed. Wow, that killed me. I was like, nothing I could have done about that. The centipede grabbed me like frame 1, and then when it entered, or when I exited the other pipe, I could not go back in. I was immediately dragged out. So that's cool. But this is also telling me that the speedrun can be improved a lot. Because the record on speedrun.com it's like 120. So like I was pretty close to getting 120 there, even though I had already died twice in the run, once to the blue lizard and once to just falling. And then dying again to the centipede. I mean, but if I didn't have any of those stats, plus optimizing other parts of the run, because my movement just wasn't great overall, you know, this run might be like under an hour. The speedrunner friendly game actually may be true. No, there's games like Minecraft. Actually, kind of amazed that Minecraft has a really big speedrunning community, because it kind of sounds awful to speedrun any like non-seeded category. They spend in the anything game. Nice. I actually need to do that there. A lot of random factors. You're saying it's so random that it like balances out. Actually, I shouldn't have thrown boosted there. Okay, I need to find another spear. There's one and two. actually like really dangerous doing that. A very high chance of falling and like throwing the spear when turning around. Yeah, try to avoid fall damage and still happen anyway. Okay, I don't like that guy. Thank you. Please. Him is actually not really that dangerous at all. You easily make all those jumps. I'd like to avoid getting grabbed by leeches this time. It's actually slowed me down a bit. This area is always a war zone between the centipedes and the leeches. They're constantly like fighting every time I enter this room. Please? See that the leech makes it harder to make that jump. So, will I see a massive centipede this time? It's a wonderful question. I wish I didn't have to ask that question at all. This might be the centipede, actually. Because I think there's a little bit of random variance on their size. So it's either a massive... like... See, there's two centipedes here of different sizes. Okay. I don't even know if that one's big enough to attack me, but I'm just gonna be safe. Also, I really don't like this thing in the foreground that blocks your view, especially between the room transition. Please. Please. Or the centipede is over here. Yeah, we got lucky. This room is kind of annoying though. A lot of tunnels you have to climb through, but they can't really see where you are inside the tunnels. The most anti-speedrunner friendly game. I don't know. I think the movement system is like the one thing that's, or the movement system, the variety of the regions that you go through, and like the environmental design, the music, you know, just like all of that stuff. It's like great for the game, great for like variety and speedrunning. And then like pretty much just like creatures and RNG kind of make it awful. There we go, 130. But surely there's like plenty of other games out there that are like actually awful. Like they don't even have a fun movement system behind them. Easy run, no deaths. You know, we actually saw part of this cutscene earlier. RNG can also be kind of a nice thing to make runs like different. You never know what's going to happen in a run. If it's the same exact thing every single time, then maybe it kind of gets boring, or maybe it feels like you're always the one at fault. So, you know, if you make a mistake, it's like, I mean, I guess that makes sense, right? Like, of course, if you make mistakes, you're going to be slower, but sometimes it can be annoying if that's the only thing. Like, there's no possibility of getting lucky and getting a good run. You always have to be performing better than your last attempt. It reminds me of Tears of the Kingdom. That speedrun I think is ridiculous, especially the 90% categories, because at the very beginning of the game, there's like a 5 minute long, or maybe 4 minute, a very long cutscene that you can't skip that always plays at the beginning of a run. And then there's also like, well, of course, depending on your level of skill and what you're going for in the run, but then like right after that cutscene, there's like actually some very difficult tech you have to pull off. So if you mess that up, then you have to watch the 5 minute cutscene again. Maybe that's only a problem if you're really going for like a really good time. I don't know how like competitive it is right now, or if like most speedrunners just like don't even bother with that. But definitely in like the world record runs that I've seen. So it's actually a little bit earlier than I'd normally end a stream. So I don't know if there's anything else I want to do. I suppose I could do another attempt maybe. Suppose. You know, we'll see if we can do a deathless run. It should only take like about an hour, or maybe slightly faster than that. But then if I die, I'll just restart. Or no, I'll just end the stream. Okay, the chat always seems to break in those kind of scenarios for some reason. It's like weirdly consistent. When the chat decides to not work. if you are making a game with a lot of dialogue and you want people to be at least interested at all in the speedrun, add a button that automatically skips dialogue. And also make sure that the button that skips dialogue is different than the button that initiates dialogue. And not even just for speedrunning, just for any game in general. It's annoying when you are talking to someone and you're like, okay, I've heard what this person has to say, I'm just going to skip their dialogue, or if you've already seen the dialogue before. But while you're spamming the button to skip their dialogue, you start talking to them again and you have to skip it again. That's not a problem at all in Rain World, but for other games. Just a bit of a reminder for what we're doing here. We start the run with some option to kill the guy you're talking to, I suppose. So we have to karma catch here just to get our karma up at first, but also to get some passages. Specifically the martyr passage where you get for starving multiple times in a row, which is basically what we're doing. As well as the survivor passage, which we will make some progress towards, but we will also finish just from staying in shelters in other parts of the run. And we need to use both of those passages later. In Rain World, you do? In Rivulet's campaign, if you go up to Pebbles, you can throw something at him to skip his dialogue, and you'll actually be able to escape the rune sooner. We don't even go to Pebbles in the Sorpus run anymore, but that used to be a strategy. And I think we need to karma catch once more after this. Doesn't really hurt to check my passage progress. But I think it's get to max karma and then karma cash once more after that. Yes, that is consistent. And Rogue likes to let you murder the shopkeeper, but then the shopkeeper ends up being like the strongest enemy. Like always, that's like a pretty consistent theme. I said there was a spear right there. I suppose it's kind of a thing in Rain World too, with the scavenger merchants. If you kill them, other scavengers will show up, come after you. So if I jump on the right side of the wall first, then I end up trying to wall jump, but I climb up instead. So if I jump on the left side of the wall, then I end up doing a wall jump instead of climbing up. It's just exactly the opposite of what I want to do, for whatever reason. I'm always scared of doing that. and falling down. Probably the most creatures that I've seen in this area as monk. In one little spot. Thank you for waiting for me. I like how many egg bugs there are here as monk. Okay, that did not work both times, and now we're just all the way back down here. Did that help at all? Probably not. Again, the music didn't start playing when it was supposed to. Get outplayed. That's the double wall jump that I'm referring to, by the way. What I just did there. Wants to avoid the blue lizard and wants to get up to that platform after the spear throw. Or before the spear throw. I wonder what is causing that threat music to play. Oh, okay. You can't reach that. And then I fell all the way down. That's the threat music. This guy is freaking out. Okay, that backfly just slowed me down a lot. I wanted to bring them to the gates to eat them there, but I kept picking up other items instead. This really doesn't save that much time if I even did manage to bring the backfly with me, because I'm just gonna get all my food from a popcorn plant later. Throw dash? I don't know what that's referring to. This? That thing that I did there. Is that what you're calling a throw dash? Or is it the thing where I do a long slide? Well, both of them are similar anyway. You basically do a slide. You're moving in one direction. You press it down, like diagonally down, the direction that you're moving, and to jump at the same time. You'll do a slide. And then a bit after starting the slide, you throw an item backwards. So you hold backwards, throw, and then hold forward again, and I'll do an extended slide. If you do a jump right after throwing, but before holding forward, I will do a extended instant hop, which is that like big jump that I do. Yeah, extended slides is one of those mechanics that is like incredibly useful to learn for speedrunning. You can pretty much make use of them anywhere where there's just like a long flat area. AI hops are also very useful, but they are significantly harder to do since you pretty much need to be frame perfect with the jump input. You start a slide, throw backwards, and then like 1 or 2 frames later, I forget which one is the best. I think 2 frames later, you do a jump input, and then 1 frame after that, you hold forward. And maybe also up. You do all those things perfectly. You do that. Don't mind me. These lizards aren't being aggressive towards me because I'm Monk. The hardest part about them is probably actually starting the slide properly and then throwing at the right time, because you can't throw immediately after starting the slide. There's a short delay, but you also can't wait too long. It's something that you definitely have to get used to. Also, I don't know if there's a speeder up there. Also, this that I'm doing right here is fast pole climbing that I am not very good at explaining, but if you just look at the inputs that I'm doing on the bottom left of the screen, you can figure out how to do it, and it's like extremely useful because it lets you move fast enough on poles to like outrun some lizards, which usually is not possible. It's something I really recommend learning. Gourmand and Rivulet can't do it though. Well, Gourmand can do it a little bit, but they'll run out of stamina real quick. Actually doing AI hops much better than normal. Yeah, Rivulet can't do it. I guess they jump away from poles too quickly. But it's slightly annoying. I mean, I guess it makes it easier, but I always like to do something to make me move faster. And since Rivulet can't do it, not being able to do anything and just holding upwards to move fast, it feels kind of wrong. Like I could be doing something to move faster, but I'm not. So I actually do like when I have to use fast pole climbing. Guess I remembered how to do AI hop right now. Might be bad. Every like Red Rail speedrunner is like in pain right now. I always hate when this happens. Okay, that was actually not too bad though. Too fast. Unless I try to throw backwards to slow me down a little bit. What you missed? I just made my way up the pebbles. Pretty sure it doesn't have enough grip. I'm trying to get that really big wall pounce that I did a few times earlier. Not that. The streamer. The streamer has a name, you know? Actually, it was pretty uneventful. I just did the exact same thing as last run, except it was a little bit better. I think the creatures were got in the way a little less. I also did slightly better with the AI hops. Didn't want to ping me. Oh shoot, I wasn't paying attention. That's all your fault. And Pebbles blocks me too. No, it doesn't like ping me. It like highlights my name in the chat, but that's not like annoying at all. I wasn't saying that sarcastically, but like I don't really mind if you type my name in the chat. Now this is one of the more RNG parts of the run where we just kind of have to hope that we run into a neuron. They're right there. Of course, when I go for it, they dodge. I actually said last time it'd probably be faster to like jump off the walls here. Usually you can get through this room very quickly by throw boosting down the middle of it, but I can't throw boost right now. So this is probably better. Or maybe not, I don't know. But you slow down a lot if you go down the middle. But also you get slowed down a lot if you grab onto the poles on accident. Underhang route. I haven't seen anyone do underhang routes. I just kind of assumed it was slower. Maybe someone should try that out. Probably slower. You'd have to go through like all of Pebbles. You either go through all of Pebbles to exit like halfway through Underhang, and you continue from there, or you go down the wall and then go through the rest of Underhang from there. All that kind of just feels like it would be slower than... Also, I realized I made a mistake. You're supposed to put one of these in your stomach, and now I can't. Yeah, it could be throw boosting right now. Probably going to head down to the blue fruit on the wall and eat that. I can throw art with one of these right here. Or two of them. Or multiple. There's a lot of bad plays here. I think there are 5 total. Yeah, actually, I'm kind of interested in testing out the Underhang route, now that you mention it. Okay, that didn't fall down. Last time I was here, it was very chaotic. That's a mean lizard. Maybe because I just jumped right over them. But that was clean. There'd be a lot of rot. Well, I've run Rivulet story percent, so I'm used to the amount of rot there. Sometimes they're actually easier to avoid compared to like the lizards and spiders. Oh, wait, can you hold and... I think you can hold the grapple worm and a neuron at the same time, right? That wouldn't be a problem. Monk isn't Rivulet. But you would mostly just use the grapple worm, right? I think that wouldn't be too bad. Surprised I didn't take fall damage there. Now the music is playing. Skipped it last time. Excuse me. I still can't do that well for some reason. I don't like you. How's that Fearless Centipede? Oh, rip. Okay, that could have gone worse. I how you could see that scavenger had kind of different levels of aggression towards me as I got closer. Because at first they were just standing there, and then they pulled out their spear, and then they threw a rock at me. Rude scavs. Well, I mean, when this creature is approaching you rapidly, maybe I would be a little scared too. Okay. Maybe I used them all up. Goodness. Okay. My movement was going well. Maybe I'll take the other route this time. I think it's this way. And then this way. It's nice to see the pink was there. I think I'd pretty much only want to do this route if I had a neuron light. Otherwise, I don't like how you can't see anything. No, maybe I should have thought of that. Even that didn't work. Actually, I have a better idea. There we go. Don't throw the spear all the way up there. I don't recommend it. I already have food. Iggy provide light? They actually do, but it's kind of inconsistent. And just not as good as the neuron light. Please. Somehow we pass each other. Also, it's about to rain. Suppose I'll just have to take the shelter then. Hello, scavengers. Almost made the same mistake. Actually, I did. I just got luckier. Yeah, if you saw the Darkness Slugcat mod, that uses the same effect as what Monk has. But I think the moment you get Neuron Glow, it just is disabled completely. Makes sense. That was a good EI off. That was like the frame perfect one. Well, I suppose every action is frame perfect if you think about it. Just that's the one frame that's like the best. Frame perfect. What I'm referring to is the EI hop, depending on when you do the, goodness, when you jump. Basically, you start the slide, you throw backwards, and then you jump. And depending on how late the jump is, it changes what the EI hop looks like. If you do it on frame 1, it does like a pounce, as if you did like a roll pounce, or a slide pounce, I suppose. Where it sends you more like diagonally up instead of forward. If you delay it by 2 frames, so in the very next frame, then it's like very fast. That was the one that I was talking about earlier, the perfect jump. And then every frame that you do that's like slower, it's like a slower variant of the jump. So you want to do it as close to 2 frames, please. As close to the 2 frame window as possible. But if you're a little bit slow, then it's still like a decent amount of speed that you get. I think that's how I understand it. It may be a bit more complex than that. It's time for these guys to bully me. You know, we could actually bring these neurons straight to Moon right now. I think that'd be a waste of time, because then we'd have to head back here. We'd have to do the same trip again with a cloak. Wow, the jetfish is coming over to me. How nice of them. Hopefully I don't drown here. Go into the bottom one. Just go. Don't go that far. Okay. Alright, well, that's the end. I said I'd end it when we died, and there we go. So I guess you like get boosted out of the pipe, because I went way too far there. Like, and that was also like when I was very close to drowning anyways, so I'll have to account for that. But this is a cool category. I might try it more later. It is quite long, being about an hour, and longer if you die or make mistakes. So, but I mean, I think that's kind of a good length for a run that's not too difficult when it comes to creature spawns, because like with Saint, for example, it's about an hour long too, but the very end has so many creatures that you're probably going to die at the end, and it makes the run really annoying. Plus all the other like places where creatures show up, like in Subterranean or in Sonic Construct. But for Monk, you know, it's pretty chill the whole way through. Maybe if we add Underhang to the route, it will no longer be chill. We'll see. I might look into the Underhang route. That could be interesting. But I might try this in the future, but you know, I have some other ideas for things to do before then. So that means you gotta subscribe and turn on notifications to get notified when I do a stream. Haha. Do Saint percent. I don't know if I want to do more Saint runs though. We'll see. Maybe I'll return to like all the Downpour speedruns eventually. But this is definitely an interesting one. So that's going to be the end of the stream. Thanks everyone for watching. See ya.